Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Pixel Buzz, where we talk about
nerd culture,
tech news,
and everything in between
with a little bit of a buzz. I am your host, who is Zane. Go ahead and find me on Instagram, webpage, and Facebook.
I am Schematis. You can find me on Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that crazy stuff, all the socials.
Good.
Look it up.
So today we're going to try something out. This whole month, technically, even though Cowboy already cheated, Joe Rogan is doing this Sober October challenge with a couple of people, himself mostly, and his followers, because Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura don't want to do it. Ira Shapiro's not going to do it either. So, we're having some O-Duels, which is non-alcoholic. Well, technically, it's less than 0.5% of alcohol. Non-alcoholic beer. We're going to put that aside, and we're going to have a sip.
You know, this is my first non-alcoholic beer, so I'm actually kind of curious, like excited but not excited. Cheers.
Let me know what you think.
Well, it tastes good.
Okay.
It's kind of friendly.
Yeah.
I would say one thing. I didn't even know Sober October was a thing.
Yes. So, it started maybe about 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Joe Rogan did a competition, 3 years ago, probably. Did a competition with his friends to see who could lose the most weight.
Oh, nice.
And one of the things that they were going to do is just be sober that whole time. So, yeah, give it a shot.
Nice.
Today we're going to jump right into it. As you can see back in our background over there, we just finished reading books 1 and 2 of The Three Jokers.
Loved it.
So before we get into actually talking about that, let's talk about maybe our knowledge, maybe the origins, how we started into comics.
Oh, that's a good one. So the thing is, you beat me here. Like, I think I had comics on and off. To be honest, like overall, in terms of literature for like any kind of geek fandom, I've been really late to the party. This goes for anime as well. Like, I just didn't read manga. I rather prefer to watch. Yeah, see, I got it. I think I was just more of an audio and visual person, because like I would read literature, but I wouldn't feel the emotion, the intensity. There was no music. I had to use more imagination. I wasn't used to that. But this was different for me. Like, this threw me right in. Like,
yeah. You don't even have to have read the previous. You don't need much knowledge. You know who the Joker is. You know who Robin and Batman are.
Hopefully, Batgirl. You should. And like the whole thing was like the experience was just immersive. So you had probably way more experience with comics growing up. So you're used to this.
Yeah, I mean, I loved going to Forbidden Planet here in New York, or Midtown Comics as well. Another big company here in New York. I would just go and take a look at what they had. Thankfully, they allow you to read their books.
In the store?
Before
you buy them?
I know a lot of people are probably not a fan of that. You should probably buy it and have your own copy. But if you're growing up and don't have a lot of money, that is one way.
Good point.
Of
and when people give me that opportunity to read it in the store, I kind of want to support the artists and the developers and like the creators behind it when I really like it. I'm like, you know what? I can actually see myself reading this or wanting it in my collection, so therefore I'll pick it up.
Okay.
But, you know what I mean?
So, aside from the DC, are you also into Marvel?
Oh,
are there
easily. So it's funny. Like, I'm a huge Marvel person over most, but I do like some really dark DC storylines. Like, so it's weird, right? Overall, I would say I'm a more Marvel person. But one thing DC does way better than Marvel, in my opinion, is setting up really strong protagonists and antagonists, giving them an amazing, incredible, detailed, like, storylines, just character development. I think it's done marvelously well in DC, more so than Marvel, which is crazy, right?
It's debatable, but I can see how that is
absolutely.
appealing. Like, for example, Spider-Man has a ton of villains, but most of the villains, and there is a story arc for most of them. It's not just like they're developed just to be part of a villain.
True.
So, but the same thing for DC. There's a couple of villains. Like, right now, there's a twist happening, right? In these
Three Jokers?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's... I'm not going to ruin it for people, but there's new character development.
Yes. Honestly, have you seen The Killing Joke by any chance?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow.
And I've read it as well.
Oh, see, I didn't read it. I just saw it. Sorry, here we go again. Yeah, but it was great. I think it's actually coming out on Netflix, too. But anyway, more importantly, that was like the biggest like pull to me that, wow, Batman's storyline is way darker than the cartoons set it up to be.
So, well, we'll talk about the cartoons, right? Okay. So, was your first experience from Batman or with Batman, the animated series.
Yes, the Cartoon Network. 30 minutes, that whole thing, right? The Mark Hamill version of Joker.
Yeah, correct.
Right? That was my whole childhood. And, I kind of recall it, not 100%, but it was basically like, he would lose the first 15 minutes of the show, and he'll come back in the last 15 minutes and win somehow. And it was just like this kind of feel good, like, oh, but at the core of it, everyone in that universe is just going through something.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, that show even created Harley Quinn. Right? So she wasn't a thing before the animated series. Batman itself wasn't a big comic book per se until that show. So Batman started becoming more relevant in our lives after that show, which is an amazing show. There's a documentary on YouTube. You can watch it. It's an hour and 30 minutes on how the development started. We were not going to have the Batman animated series, but thankfully a couple of people were able to pull some.
Oh, wow.
The
Warner Brothers kind of just got it together at that point.
Well, they didn't want it. Anyway, go ahead and look at the show.
Take a look now.
The documentary. Really good documentary on it.
Nice.
One of our favorite. If you have not seen the Batman animated series, go watch it.
I love it.
It's a must.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think you can watch it on Amazon. Amazon has, I think, the paid. You have to pay for.
It's worth it. It's worth it. I think it's honestly one of the best cartoons out there.
Correct.
Next to Teen Titans, but that's another. We digress.
Different age group, but yes. So from there, we start progressing into more of the heavy hitter stories that are coming out now.
Correct.
Right. We have the Court of Owl series that came out where it's basically the origin story of Court of Owls and how they're hunting Batman, which is actually supposed to be mixed into what's the guy from Twilight? What's his name?
The Robert
Pattinson.
Yes.
Batman.
Yes.
It's supposed to be mixing with Riddler and stuff.
I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah. So there's a lot of story behind Batman now, and the more stories are coming out, the grittier it's becoming.
I love this, by the way. Yeah, I think. Well, we had the Joker movie, which was the first, also like the.
Yeah.
Oh, we can get into that. This all like segue into different topics, but it goes to show that like this animated series that we grew up with as kids is not about this feel good hero type of thing. It's like we're really examining this dark psychology of human nature, right? Of criminals, of vigilantes, and what this all comes out to boil into. I'm like, wow, this is great. I'm waiting for the third one. I don't know if it's out yet.
Oh, I think by the time that we're filming this, I think it's coming out.
Perfect.
But,
Perfect.
Yeah, so we'll be in Forbidden Planet or Midtown Comics. I think it's closer to you.
Midtown Comics.
So
correct.
We'll be picking up a copy of that.
Good.
If you haven't read it, there's a bunch right now because everyone's trying to grab a copy.
So good.
There's also a variant cover for the second book. So instead of Batgirl, you get the Joker as well, in case you want to have them all uniform. But yeah, it's some exciting stuff. You get to see a bit more Red Hood.
Oh.
Red Hood in the Red Hood.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
Jason.
It's some really, really amazing stuff that's happening right now.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's heading in a really interesting direction that might reset. I think after this, there's the New 52 that's going to come out, so it might reset the whole arc.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see, and I'll explain how there are. I'm not gonna.
You don't want to spoil it, right?
Yeah.
Basically, just get into that, right? It's called the Three Jokers for a reason, right? They basically just
wink,
wink, right? You honestly, this blew my mind, right? Right? Because you think one is bad enough.
Yeah. Again, we're not gonna get.
We're not gonna get into that,
but because it's still early, right? So we don't want to spoil anything.
Correct.
If you haven't read it, go pick it up.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I think we'll end here. If you guys want to talk or ask questions about comics, maybe any comics that we recommend, any comics that you guys recommend that you guys want us to review, maybe we need to read up on our comics, please let us know down in the comments below. Whether it's Marvel, DC, doesn't matter. We do not discriminate.
Not over here, no.
Oh, what is it? Trojan Horse, I think is the other one, or any other comic book labels that you want to pull us through.
Link it through in the comments.
And that'll be it for tonight. Later.
Ciao.